page 54 and page 55. Both pages linked together because they're both bath bomb experimentations that I've done. Right, I've done an A3 page bath bombs where I've used different colours, where also I've used a little chunk of bath bombs that I had left, which was pink and green, that I have blended to this nice little brown colour. Well, you can see little chunks of the bath bomb left over, which started to fall off slowly from if you rub your hand over it, or if the pages kept smashing together once they're closed, or if it moved around. So I've made this nice little plastic sheet over it so it protects the piece. Also, I've used a brush to help, where you can see these little corners stick out. I've used a brush to help spread the water to stop them all blending the colours to a disgusting colour that's even worse than what's shown here. Doing this also, I tried to move some colours together, which was the orange to a very light shade of blue in this corner right here, which has slowly worked in the favour, but also the colours gradually done it on their own, such as the pink and the blue, and also some of the orange and yellow that blended together as well. Doing this, I can see that if I use certain colours of bath bomb that I have, or if I use a lot of it crumbled up together, it will have such a bright shade, such as paint, as the orange has, and the yellow stick out the most in this piece, as I've used quite a large quantity of it on this piece, but also a small quantity, such as a chunk back this size for the yellow, and then a few crumbs that I've sprinkled over, where you can see the little dots where I've sprinkled them. Doing this, it shows all the colours work very well and shows what I'm working with and how effective they can be in different areas, especially in these pieces where I have literally got chunks of the bath bombs and then got a water bottle and open it up to the point where we'll have a few drops come out, which I've left to fizz up on each page. On this page I've used orange, and then I've put 2 single drops onto each one, whilst after a while, about 10 to 20 minutes, I use a brush stroke on the smaller areas and spread it across this certain paper, which is quite tones similar to sugar paper, though it's very hard to see on this sort of paper unless it's pure white, which these pages are in my sketchbook, which I didn't previously do, which this piece will explain why. I've done this on acetate, my second one, where I've left quite a few of the bath bomb colours to fizz up. However, as you can't see in these pieces where they all have a big lump of where the bath bombs settle down, it's because the plastic started to crumble the bath bombs, as it was such a shiny surface it couldn't soak into the work that easy, which I've only got a few pieces of the residue left, which have just remained, but the big little clumps, such as this part and this as an example as well, I wasn't able to keep or try and save it, but I did take a photo which I will stick in to my work to show what it previously looked like. For my third pieces, I've used some more colours which you can see more clearly from the orange and from the plastic, especially the blue one and pink. You can see this is where the bath bomb was dropped. As you can see, where it fizzed up and where it's contained the whole time. But after about 15 minutes I got a paintbrush, drawed away most of the water, so then all the foam would be dried all together, so I could see what would happen. Which this is where all the water was at the ends, where you can see where I've dragged it away. As for the pink one, you can see where actually in some of the bath bombs they have different colours that I wasn't aware of, or the ingredients that were inside that have performed this colour of a nice white blended inside of the pink in this crumb of pink bath bomb, which again I have dragged away most of the water after 15 minutes, so then all the foam could settle again. I like how the pink has done this though, that doing this where the piece would foam up for my 2D might actually be a good outcome in my work. As again, for my orange bath bomb, which is actually quite darker than the last one I done, this piece shows large quantities of crumbs of the bath bomb still left inside, though they started to come out from where the pages started to close together, where you can see. That's why I've left a nice plastic sheet to try and stop any more from falling out. You can see where if it's not on a flat surface that's strong enough to hold them all, it will start crumbling, or if it's inside a book it will crumble, unfortunately for me. Though I am able to see the nice rough texture, which I do like a lot in my work. But then again, I have dragged the water away again to make this happen. But for some reason there was less foam, which could be I added too much water. As for my next page, I have used bath bars, which are a softer quality bath bomb, similar to like having dough, where I've used a few crumbs, but I had to use the end of my paintbrush to crush the bath bar and then soften it in the water to then spread across the page. As it does not fizz up, I had to use the similar technique to a paint palette, where I had to add a few drops of water and then spread the bath bar. This was quite gooey and very soapy. When making these experiments or working with bath bars, I have to make sure the room's ventilated, otherwise it's too perfume and it even makes me start feeling a bit sick breathing everything in. While doing this, I've also painted with some of the foam, which I use bath bombs for. Doing this, I have used, you can see the big large scale of foam that's left inside, which I have used paintbrush to spread all the water that was inside. Again, similar to page 54, which I've done with experiment 3. But on this side, which I've sectioned off, by the way, I've scooped up the foam from this side and painted with it, which has showed me a lovely blend of yellow and orange, similar to a nice sunset, which I very much enjoy. I find that if I paint with bath bombs, it's much better compared to an actual water palette or any watercolour drawings I've done. I will definitely be using bath bombs in my work, but I still need to learn if I can control these bath bombs very easily, which is why I got a single sheet of a drawing book, which I have used bath bombs on to see if I can control them which you can see where it's come out, where it's accidentally went over the lines, which doesn't really matter as long as it's retained. I'm able to control it as much as I can. That's all that matters, which is actually shown quite well in this piece. You can see where it's all nice and controlled, most of it, into the certain angles, which I have actually been very happy on. This piece makes me very happy because now it is, from my understanding, I'm definitely going to use this piece, and from doing this I can be sure enough that once I've drawn out my bird onto my canvas, I can decide it can be used on one of the detailed areas instead of one that has less of the drawing that comes through certain triangle sections off areas on my frame, which I'll be drawing out soon in my work. I'm happy to use bath bombs as it's also a good trace of a household vessel that no one's actually used before, which I actually started to use during school in year 10, as I wanted to use something that was close and personal to me, which bath bombs and bath bombs are. Similar to also gel products, as like loads of bath bombs and bars have also already have art once they've been dropped into water, that people just appreciate all the colours that are inside them once they start using water straight in the bath, which I find quite wasteful as well. But from the work I have just shown in my book, I'm very happy that I've actually used the talent people have made in bombs and not left them to waste, so that they can be seen and stain like this for the rest of my time, and also always been looked upon. Also, I believe that these won't mould as they're not food products. They don't really have sugar in them, so they will not mould like food, hopefully.